Hi, everyone. Today's story is about Maria, a hardworking single mom who loves her garden more than anything. Have you ever poured your heart into something, only to watch it slip away for reasons you can't control? Well, that's what Maria faces when her prize roses start dying, and the truth behind it shakes her whole world. Before we get into it, we'd love to know where you're watching from. Drop it in the comments so we can bring you more stories that hit home for you. Oh, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's free, and it means you won't miss any of our upcoming tales. Ready? Let's dive into the story. It was a quiet Saturday morning in a small town in Ohio. The sun was just peeking over the trees, casting a soft glow on Maria's little house. Maria was 38, a single mom with a 10-year-old son named Ethan. She wasn't rich, far from it. She worked long shifts as a cashier at the local grocery store, barely making enough to cover rent and bills. But there was one thing that kept her going: her garden. Maria's garden wasn't big, just a patch in her backyard, but it was her pride and joy. She grew roses, beautiful, deep red ones that had won her first place at the county fair 3 years in a row. Every evening after work, she'd slip on her old sneakers, grab her watering can, and spend an hour tending to those flowers. Ethan would sit nearby, doing his homework or kicking a soccer ball, while Maria pruned and watered. It was their little routine, their peace in a tough world. But lately something was wrong. A few weeks ago, Maria noticed her roses weren't looking right. The leaves were turning yellow, curling at the edges. Then the petals started dropping one by one, until whole bushes looked limp and sad. She tried everything: more water, less water, fertilizer, even talking to them like her grandma used to. Nothing worked. It broke her heart to see her hard work fading away. One morning, while Ethan ate cereal at the kitchen table, Maria stood by the window, staring at her dying garden. "Mom," Ethan said, his voice small, "are the roses going to be okay?" Maria forced a smile. "I hope so. Buddy, I'm going to figure this out." But inside, she wasn't so sure. That afternoon, she decided to dig deeper, literally. She grabbed a shovel and started turning the soil around her roses. That's when she noticed it. A strange, oily smell, sharp and chemical-like. The dirt didn't look right either. It was darker in some spots, almost sticky. Maria frowned. This wasn't normal. She scooped some soil into a plastic bag, wiped her hands on her jeans, and made a plan. She'd take it to the hardware store and ask if they had a testing kit. At the store, the clerk, an older guy named Tom, took one look at the soil and shook his head. "This doesn't look good, Maria. You might have something toxic in there. You live near that old factory, right?" Maria nodded. Her house was just a mile from a big industrial plant that made car parts. It had been there forever. But she'd never thought much about it until now. Tom sold her a basic soil test kit, and that evening, Maria sat on her porch, following the instructions. The results made her stomach drop. The soil was full of something called benzene chemical she'd never heard of. But the kit's booklet said it was dangerous, even poisonous. Her hands shook as she read it. How did this get into her garden? And what did it mean for her and Ethan? The next day, Maria called the county health department. A tired-sounding woman answered and told her to file a report online. So, Maria borrowed a neighbor's laptop. She didn't have one of her own and typed up everything. The dying roses, the weird smell, the test results. She hit send and waited. Days passed. Nothing. She called again. "We're looking into it," they said. Maria wasn't the type to sit still. She started asking around town. Her friend Lisa, who worked at the diner, said, "I heard the factory's been dumping stuff for years. My cousin used to work there," he said. "They'd pour chemicals into the creek at night." Maria's eyes widened. The creek ran right behind her house, just beyond her garden fence. Could that be it? Determined, Maria took more soil samples and paid out of her small savings to send them to a lab in the city. A week later, the results came back. Benzene levels, way higher than safe, plus other nasty chemicals she couldn't pronounce. The lab report said it could come from industrial waste like the kind a factory might dump. Maria felt sick. This wasn't just about her roses anymore. What if it was in the air, The water. What if Ethan was breathing it in? She marched to the factory's front gate the next morning, report in hand, Ethan trailing behind her. Security. Guard stopped her. "Can't come in here," he said, arms crossed. "I just want to talk to someone," Maria pleaded. "My garden's poisoned, and I think it's from you." The guard shrugged. "Take it up with management." "My problem." Frustrated, Maria went home and posted about it on Facebook. She wasn't big on social media, but she typed out her story. The dying roses, the soil tests, the factory. She added a photo of her garden once so alive, now a graveyard of wilted stems. "If anyone knows what to do, please help," she wrote. By morning, the post had dozens of shares. People commented, "My yard's weird too. That factory's been shady forever." Someone even tagged a local news station. 2 days later, a reporter named Jenna knocked on Maria's door. She was young, with a notepad and a serious look. "I saw your post," Jenna said. "Can I test your soil too?" Maria agreed. Jenna took samples, interviewed her, and promised to dig into the factory's history. That night, Maria couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about Ethan, about the life she'd built here. What if they had to leave? A week later, the story broke. Jenna's article hit the local paper's front page. Factory accused of poisoning. Neighborhood. Her tests matched Maria's high benzene levels, traced to runoff from the factory's waste pipes. The article said the company had been fined years ago for dumping but never stopped. Worse, town officials had known and looked the other way. Maria's phone buzzed nonstop, neighbors, friends, even strangers, all angry, all scared. The factory put out a statement, claiming they followed all rules. But the damage was done. People started showing up at Maria's house with their own stories. Sick pets, kids with rashes, gardens that wouldn't grow. One man, a lawyer named Mr. Patel, offered to help. "We can sue them," he said. "Class action lawsuit. You're not alone in this." Maria hesitated. She wasn't a fighter, not like that. But then she looked at Ethan, playing in the yard, and nodded. "Okay, let's do it." The lawsuit took months. Maria became the face of it, even though she hated the attention. She spoke at town meetings, her voice shaking but firm. "This isn't just about my roses," she said. "It's about our homes, our kids." Factory fought back, hiring. Fancy lawyers, but the evidence piled up. Leaked emails, old permits, whistleblower testimony from a former worker. In the end, a judge ruled against them. The company had to pay millions to clean the soil, fix the creek, and compensate families including Maria's. When the check came, Maria didn't celebrate. She sat on her porch, staring at the bare patch where her roses used to be. Ethan climbed onto her lap. "Can we plant new ones now?" he asked. Maria smiled. "A real one this time." "Yeah, buddy, we can." The money helped new soil, new plants, even a little left for Ethan's college fund. But the real win was knowing she'd stood up, not just for her garden, but for everyone. As spring rolled around, Maria planted again. The roses came back, slow but steady, their red blooms bright against the fresh earth. And every time she watered them, she felt a quiet pride. She'd faced the poison and won. So that was the story of Maria. What did you think, have you? Ever had to fight for something you love, like she did with her garden? Let us know in the comments. If this story hit home for you, please hit that subscribe button. It's free for you. But it helps us a ton to keep bringing you these tales. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good day, and we'll see you in the next one.